afternoon and a very warm welcome to you. My name is Jeannie D and this is Afternoon Express, and the weekend is finally upon us. Now, the topic of today's show is something really close to my heart: tech. I know that sounds funny, but I have the dirtiest little crush on technology and science. Now, we spend so much time on our computers and our smartphones without really understanding what goes into making all those apps and programs work. Now, today we're joined by some young South African geniuses who are doing us all proud in the digital world.
Welcome back to your favorite kitchen. I'm Berry Nice Brulee, and joining me is our favorite chef, Clem.
Hey.
And you've got the perfect recipe to kick off the weekend.
I do. So I don't often bake any sweet dishes, and whenever we get comments on Facebook and on Twitter, they always ask, why don't you cook more sweet dishes?
Yeah.
I just don't really have a sweet tooth, but I'm going to think less about myself,
Yes.
more of everyone else. So it's the
Do it
Festive
for the
seasons
people.
here.
Yeah.
And bringing everything sweet. Gingerbread houses, gingerbread bread, we can make them all. But today we can make something called a Berry Nice Brulee.
Aww.
So all it is beautiful berries cooked down with some sugar at the base of a dish, topped with creme brulee on top.
Right.
So I hope you're hungry.
I
It's
am
gonna be
hungry,
awesome.
and I can't wait to get started because creme brulee in general is one of my favorite desserts. Yeah, but let's not keep you. Let's head back to the couch with Jeannie with our first guest. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Bunny. Now, when we log onto our computers, casually open the internet browser and start searching for our favorite recipes on afternoonexpress.co.za, by the way, the thought never crosses our minds about how all of this information is appearing on our screens at the click of a button, and whether or not we can trust the information. Well, thanks to people like the folks at Thinkst Applied Research that put in all the hard work to keep your computers and information safe. We're joined today by Azad Desai from Thinkst. Welcome to Afternoon Express. Now, tell us a bit about Thinkst. What does your company do?
So, Thinkst is a South African tech company, and it was founded a few years back by Haren Mir to focus on persistent problems in computer security. And in particular, there's one problem that we think about a lot, and that's the problem of, if you imagine a large organization like a bank or a government department that has a very large network, how would you know if someone has broken in and has started snooping around the computers there?
Wow.
So what we do at Thinkst is we build canaries, which are little devices that you scatter around the networks, and they look just like other computers. So when someone has broken in, they're rummaging around all the computers there, but unknown to them, they trip over one of the canaries and it acts like a tripwire, sets off an alarm, and alerts, well, us and the people in the organization that something has gone wrong.
That's amazing. Now, what is coding?
It happens in a number of different settings, so it looks very different depending on where you see it. But essentially all it is, when someone says coding, what they mean is there's a computer somewhere, and we're giving a set of instructions to that computer to run.
Okay.
And it'll look very different in a number of different places. So on a website and phones will be quite familiar, but there'll also be other places where we don't see them so easily. So an example of that would be, say, if you take a look at a bank card or the new South African smart ID cards, the gold chip on that is in fact another computer, and someone has to write code for that.
This is so hectic. So everything that we see on a computer has been coded.
Yeah. In fact, even TV, modern enough TV, will have code running on it, will have a little computer embedded on it, and that'll be running code as well.
Even like graphic images, will somebody have built a code to give you the graphic image?
So it depends on the graphic images. So there are some where if someone's got an animation that's running in a website, sometimes it will be driven by code, but sometimes it will be more sort of statically represented, and something like the example of showing frames in a movie, there won't be code involved there. That will just be sort of replaying frames of the images.
But how is code done? Like, I know that's a broad question, but really, how does it work? How can you just plug in a few numbers and then something will appear?
Okay, so we started with that few numbers. Instead of us plugging in numbers, it would be very difficult for us to tell the computer every single little bit. So what we do is we have a sort of higher level language that we speak, and we tell the computer, instead of saying, computer, flip this bit, then flip that bit, we say, okay, no, generate this button for us, and when this button is clicked, do something. So we have this higher level language that allows us to give instructions that the computer can understand. I mean, the higher level language translated into little bits and wiring that goes on. But for the most part, we think in the higher level abstraction. Yeah. But I have to warn you though, the people like myself who write these codes, we don't actually understand every single thing that goes on.
Oh, really?
we're thinking at this higher level abstraction when we're writing the code in a particular language, and there's a whole millions of other things that go on in the background. And of course, things can go wrong there, but we don't always understand everything.
Do you have to be a genius to be a coder, or is it something that anyone can learn?
Oh, no, not at all. Anyone.
Really?
Anyone can
I could even be a coder?
Yes, we could sit down here for 10 minutes and I could pull up what's called a prompt of some sort, and I could tell you to write specific sort of words, and the computer will start doing stuff depending on what their words are.
So then tell us a bit about internet security then as well. I mean, how do you secure things online?
Okay, so when we talk about internet security, we're talking about a lot of different things. We're talking about the security of the app on our phone, the security of the website that's running, the security of the organization itself that's hosting the website. And there's a number of different areas that we're focusing on. But since we're talking about coding, the one that's quite a nice example to understand is we can talk about the security of a single application.
Okay.
So something like a WhatsApp.
Yeah.
What that thing is doing is it's taking data from us, putting it on the phone and sending it along to the other person.
Are our WhatsApps really safe?
Everyone always asks that question. And I sometimes hesitate to want to answer it because for most purposes, it's actually really good.
Okay.
So what's happening is this. So you're asking the question. I assume you're asking the question, but there's two questions inside the question you're asking. The first one, I assume it is on your phone, is that data stored safe?
Yeah.
And the second question is when it goes from your phone to the other person's phone, is it safe?
Yes.
The second question of what's happening in transit is that it is very safe. There's a wonderful...
Oh, really?
WhatsApp has this really wonderful design in the background that it's a very modern form of, well, we'd call it a cryptographic protocol that handles the fact and ensures that only your two devices ever see the contents of that message.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, now how good is South Africa? Where are we in the world as far as ownership of huge online properties like Google and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so ownership is slightly a bit of a more sort of complex thing to unpack because, I mean, we could have a South African company that runs its digital infrastructure in Singapore, for example.
Oh, I see.
And when we're sitting on the web browser, we're seeing a website, but it's immaterial to us whether it's sitting in Singapore, whether it's sitting in Frankfurt, or whether it's sitting in Johannesburg.
Okay. But as far as our skills level then, as far as tech is concerned, are we considered really good as far as our app development and, you know, online security, that kind of thing?
So we have a mix as well. I mean, there are some South African researchers doing really interesting things that we see happening. And there are some interesting South African tech companies doing interesting, but I think like most countries, it'll be a mix.
It really is the new go-to business, don't you think? Like, I think when you look at places like San Francisco, and I mean, I heard Cape Town was becoming the next Silicon Valley as well, with a whole lot of people just having or creating different kinds of jobs and different kinds of properties because it's all online.
Yeah, so it certainly does open up a lot of space. I think that's the very nice thing about tech is that it allows you to approach a lot of different industries, a lot of different areas and settings, and with a similar set of tools, and it just open up the possibility.
Amazing.
And with hardware being another thing to come up to, like consumable stuff like phones and watches, there's even more space to sort of insert themselves into life and hopefully solve problems that people actually have.
Exactly. Thank you so much for chatting to us. We're going to chat to you again a little bit later on the show. I'm really learning how to be so, au fait with technology. I love this kind of stuff. Bonnie, how about you?
Jeannie's so adorable. She's the only person who could describe coding as hectic. But when we return from the break, we get started on that Berry Nice creme brulee. Don't go away.
Salati Plantation Select adds subtle sweetness to toffees, caramel, bran muffins, or sprinkled into a spicy curry. Salati, always good, always sweet.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're about to get started on that Berry Nice Brulee. So what do we do?
So let's actually get the berries in the pot first. So if you can pass the raspberries and the blueberries along.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add it straight to the pot so they can start doing their thing. You see, the berries already have quite a lot of liquid in them, so I'm not going to add any water, but what I am going to add is a touch of brown sugar. And that's just to add a little more flavor to it. So I left that little, oh, there we go. So a little bit of brown sugar goes in with our blueberries and our raspberries.
Right.
And that's going to kind of season our berries as we would add salt to meat. So the sugars that are in there bring out the natural flavors of the berries.
Because the raspberry tends to be a bit tart, doesn't it?
Yeah, and yes, a little bit of sugar does help in that way also,
Yeah.
like to sweeten it slightly. But
Okay.
now, coming into season, they're actually really sweet. And they're really fat, which is when you know they're really, really
Juicy.
delicious. And we spoke about this before, the fact that living in South Africa and in Africa, we have the blessing of the sun, which is great because what it does is it makes all our fruits super juicy and super sweet. So you can always expect to get berries now from Woolies that are always ripe and always delicious.
Absolutely.
And of course, being, like I said, it's the festive season, they are in season. So buy a lot and use it for everything.
Yeah.
So another tip with them is actually to freeze the berries and then to add them to your wine. So you're not adding ice to your wine, you're not diluting the wine, you're adding berries to it, so it kind of flavors it and chills it at the same time.
Nice.
So that's great, that's gonna do its thing. And again, I haven't added any water to it, because like I said, I wanna keep the natural juice that's in there. So cool, that's gonna do its thing. And then what I'm gonna do is just move the cream over to the burner as well. I'm not just using any cream, it's the festive season, so I'm using Woolies double cream.
Double cream.
So it's really luxurious. It is really something special, and you don't just get it anywhere. So you have to go to Woolies to get it. It's super beautiful, super luxurious. And what happens is when the creme brulee sits, because there's a lot more to that cream, a lot more texture and flavor, it gives you the smoothest, creamiest texture ever.
Yummy.
And this method with the cream is super simple. So cream goes in there.
Okay.
Normally we use vanilla extract, which is great in every dessert.
Every dessert, yeah.
But today we're going to switch it up. We're going to use the Woolies vanilla paste.
Vanilla paste.
So the vanilla paste has the amazing flavor of the vanilla extract. It's a lot more intense and it's beautiful, beautiful. And because it's got a little pump action bottle, all we have to do is just squeeze and then it goes in, which is really awesome, really
it's
easy.
syrupy.
So you don't end up having a big mess. And again, you can smell that vanilla from a mile away.
It's very syrupy, so it's great.
Very
it's got
syrupy.
that pump action going.
So all you want to do is bring this to a gentle simmer.
Uh-huh.
And what's going to happen is that vanilla flavor is going to infuse into the cream. Now, you don't want to boil it, because as soon as you start boiling it, remember, the double cream is already thick. We've just because it's on the heat now, it's quite thinned down. As soon as you start boiling it, you're going to boil all that beautiful moisture out of there, and it's going to become even more thick, which is what you don't want to do.
Oh,
so
right.
a gentle little rumble on top of the surface is all you want. Turn off the heat and let it cool down slightly, because the next step we're going to do is we are going to start creaming our eggs and our sugar.
Okay.
So we're going to actually keep it simple. Free-range eggs go into the machine with our sugar, and we'll start whipping it up. But we're going to do that in part 2.
These 8 eggs.
It is. And they're free-range. They have to be free-range. We spoke about this before. So, but that's going to be in part 2. But first, what I want to do now is I'm very excited about this. We spoke about how this is an amazing festive dessert that you can have at your festive table. So this week, we're running a competition. We want to know from our viewers, what's your signature festive dessert that you make every year that the festive season just wouldn't be the same without?
Yeah.
So you're going to go to our Facebook page. You're going to comment there on the Woolies post telling us what that dish is. So not only...
And how you make it, right?
Yeah, and how you make it. Just make it amazing. Send us pictures. Very important. We love seeing the pictures. And you're going to have to make it this weekend and send us a picture as well. So not only do you stand a chance to win a 500 Rand Woolies voucher, which is already great, you also have a chance to possibly be cooking on the show with us next week.
Yay!
So
Isn't that
definitely
exciting?
go to our Facebook page,
comment
on there, send us the pictures, let us know. You could be in the kitchen like right here. This is you. This is you right here.
This is you, making your recipe. And on that note, the keyword for this recipe is berry. Please SMS that keyword to 33650. You'll get a link for the recipe and the ingredients. And SMSs cost R1.50. No free SMSs apply. Let's talk tech with Jeannie on the couch with our next guest.
Thank you. We are indeed talking tech on the show today, one of my favorite topics. And of course, we are back on the couch with Azar Desai from Thinkst Applied Research. Welcome back. Now, I've got an app idea. I'm sure everybody's got an app idea. But I mean, if I have a great idea that I think could work, what is my process? Where do I go for this app to be built and developed? And how does what are the business opportunities in that kind of thing?
Okay, the one thing that's probably worth bearing in mind before setting out and charging in a sort of strong direction towards building app is that there's a slogan that Tech is banning about a bit that says release early and iterate often.
Okay.
And what that's designed to do is to sort of warn people of the danger of having spent so much time making something that nobody wants to use.
Oh no.
So, and it's not an unusual problem, you know.
Thanks for knocking my dream.
I mean, I'm sure the app idea is great. I'm sure lots of people want to use it.
I'll tell you about it, but you'll have to sign an NDA first.
We can. So the key thing there would be to try and find a way to test it out and prototype it sort of as cheaply as possible, just to get a feel for what people want and if it's going to be useful, and then start improving it.
Yeah.
So before even starting building up, you could even just try and get some designs made and try them out on a piece of... I've seen people try stuff on a piece of paper with other people to see.
Okay.
I mean, would you use something like this?
But you know, I think in the beginning, when people were first, inventing all of these apps, there was a lot of money involved in them. We used to hear about these guys selling one for $1 billion here and $1 billion there. Is that market eventually going to be so diluted that the value of those apps are eventually going to come down?
So, yeah, apps have had a bit of a mixed success of late.
Yeah.
There's certainly some people are considering that instead of building apps, they would build a website. So a retailer would have a mobile website instead of an app. And there's some of the theories as to why sometimes it's a little bit more difficult for certain things to work in the app form. It's just that there's a bit more friction involved when you download the app and install them. Sometimes for some situations, a website could just work better. But of course, there are a few applications where app is just the only way to go. Like
But is there money in the business?
They can be. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved in assessing whether something works out. Perhaps your NDA idea could have some legs to it, but it can be difficult to say.
Is it a good career prospect for young people now? Are there enough young people getting involved in technology?
So I generally always welcome more people to work with, so that could be quite fun. But it's generally quite useful, even if people don't go completely into tech, just picking up some familiarity or background, because there's some people who take their skills in tech and go into other sorts of places, like will go into engineering firms, go into finance firms, or people who come from those places and work in sort of tech roles in those places. So it can be useful in that sense.
So what advice would you give to young people who want to get involved in tech? I mean, where do you even start? Like, where would you even learn coding, for example? Yeah,
that's a good question. So generally, before I try to give any advice, I always say, be skeptical of the advice you've been given first. Because, you know, they tend to be very heavily on the person giving the advice. But if I have to go out on a limb and actually give some advice, I would say it's useful to read quite a bit. I mean, there's some people who learn lots of coding from books very well. Some people learn on the internet. With access to the internet, there's plenty of great guides that can take you from sitting on the couch and producing a simple web app later. But the one key thing I would mention, though, when learning, it's often good to test things out, because as I mentioned, us coders don't always know exactly what's going on and the full extent of what's going to happen when you push this button.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that replaces having an idea, testing it out, and actually trying it out, not taking someone's word that it will work the way you say it works.
Yeah. Thank you so much for chatting to us. You definitely have, I think, taught us a little bit more as far as the world of technology. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having
Bonnie,
me.
over to you.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more cooking in the kitchen, and we get to meet some young coders, as well as some gift ideas for your loved ones this Christmas. Don't go away.
Afternoon Express wants you to join the conversation.
Like us on Facebook and comment on our daily questions. Send us your tweets at Afternoon Chat using our official hashtag Afternoon Express, and follow us on Instagram for exclusive pictures.
Or let your voice be heard by calling us live on 083 913 3728.
For more info on our daily topics, visit afternoonexpress.co.za and check out our social media platforms, where we keep you informed on what's trending in our loft this week.
We love to hear from you on Afternoon Express, weekdays at 5 p.m. on SABC3. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. I hope you're having a gorgeous Friday afternoon. We are in the loft discussing technology. And we're joined now by Owethu Mtia, who teaches coding to thousands of young South Africans every year. He's also involved in Africa Code Week, which aims to teach computer literacy and coding to young people across the continent, paving the way for a successful career in the digital age. Now, we're also joined by Nxoli Chita, who is currently studying programming through Girl Hype, which we featured a few months ago on the show. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Hi.
Now, firstly, you are teaching and paving the way with digital technology, but I want to know, what is your involvement with Africa Code Week?
My involvement with Africa Code Week is we've been around 30 states in Africa, and that just shows you how big it is already.
Yeah.
When we came from Botswana, I'm there, master coding, teaching these children the introduction for coding.
Okay.
Paving their way for a better future.
So
as
you're
well.
a master coder, essentially.
Yes.
How do you even start teaching? Like, what is your first lesson?
Our first lesson, we teach the program Scratch, right?
Okay.
So
Is Scratch the language?
Scratch is the program.
Okay.
Yeah, coding is always the language.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we teach Scratch to the children, already the interface is very friendly, so they're very open because it's a cartoon. So they love cartoons. When we teach them, we tell them that, hi, a lot of them don't know how to use a computer, first of all.
Wow.
The schools we went to around Africa and around South Africa, a lot of them don't know how to use a computer. And we first teach them how to hold a mouse. We teach them how to click, how to use it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they'll be level 1 Scratch coders, and they'll have learned to use a computer as well.
Amazing.
So that's beautiful, it's inspirational.
Now, you are learning how to code. How's it going for you?
It's going very well.
Yeah.
To learn how to code is very, very more advanced for us.
Yeah.
It's more special us because girls have teach us how to code, and girls around the township like Kailicha, they don't have more opportunities to go very far with their code or to get involved in coding language, you see. So to get that opportunity is very well for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your dream as far as coding goes? What do you want to use it for? What would you want your career to be, per se?
First of all, as I said, that it's very good for us to have that opportunity, because to do coding, it makes you to give you confidence to go in IT side, because more especially in South Africa.
Yeah.
The more people that got in IT side is the males. So we're encouraging girls to take IT side, because now we want them to get the job to be equal.
Yeah, it's the way of the future.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get involved in it? I mean, I know that you were quite a big fan of science when you were younger.
Yes. At the age of 10, I'd always used to go with my auntie to the Cape Town Science Centre.
Yeah.
She would always drag me along. I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to see something cool? So I went along with her. And the Cape Town Science Centre has a lot of interactive exhibitions. So I went there looking at all these things, and I was like, man, I have to come back here again. So I kept coming back till I reached the age of 13, where I became the youngest volunteer at the establishment. Yeah, so shortly after that, I watched the movie The Matrix. I'm sure you guys know it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Love me some Keanu Reeves.
Now, you see the green numbers that fell down the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw
Okay,
that.
is that coding?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, wow.
Those are codes.
Okay.
So when I saw that, as a kid, I was like, wow, is this life? I need to know more. But at the time, I didn't have computers, so my interest lay dormant until I bumped head with SAP. And when I bumped head with SAP...
Are you talking about the South African police?
Oh, no.
Okay. I just thought you chose a life of crime before you chose a life of technology.
I'm actually glad you said that. Then I would have said SAP if I was talking about them, but SAP is the people that actually spearheaded the Africa Code Week.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. So that's how I got interested.
Yeah, but you're a musician as well, which I thought was quite fascinating. Because when you write music or play music, don't you use the same side of your brain as when you're coding?
Yes, yes.
So how do you link the two, music and coding?
Yes, that's very nice that you said that, because the right hemisphere deals with the creative side and the left hemisphere deals with the statistic side. Yeah. But with music, you'll see that it's normally played. Right, it's normally played, it's normally sung, you normally hear it.
Yeah.
Right, and with when you record it, it gets transferred from acoustic energy to electrical energy. Yeah. And once it's electrical energy, that's when we can put it on our computers and start tweaking it out, start making it what we want it to be. You know what I mean? Start creating our own interpretation of it. And that's exactly what you do with coding. Depending on your imagination, you're creating your own world.
Wow.
And it's amazing.
That's a beautiful way of describing it. I think because a lot of people have described music and art as mathematics. So sometimes, you know, there's a link in there. If I was smart, I would explain it. So do you sometimes learn or to use music to teach your students?
Yes. Nice thing about the program is that in the program, you are able to record. Right? You are able to record yourself speaking, you're able to record yourself playing a guitar, anything you do, anything you want to record yourself doing. And with recording, that is one of the fundamentals in music. You know, so I'll always refer to scratch, because scratch is also, it got its name from DJ scratching. Right?
Wow. That's brilliant.
That's actually a big fact, yeah.
Now, you are studying, obviously, coding, but you got a scholarship as well. How was that achieved?
Oh, okay. I'm studying HTML5 with CSS and JavaScript in Microsoft online course.
Okay.
The scholarship I got it from Girl Hype. Girl Hype found me someone who's gonna mentor me and then give me some scholarship. Brilliant. Because I was a student in Girl Hype firstly, then I started the basic of coding. Then after that, I was there, the top student, I can say.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So they go and look for someone who's gonna mentor me, and then go forward for my coding stuff. Then after that, they gave me the scholarship, and then during my time that I was applying for a scholarship, I became a facilitator in Girl Hype, just to motivate the girls that you can do this. Yeah. If you can write, you can read, and then you can code.
Brilliant.
So we got the girls, and then after that, I went to the course that
I like that. Now. If you can read, if you can write, then you can code.
Yeah.
Now, how have you seen some of the lives of your students changed because of coding?
Oh, wow. That is amazing. As I said before, some of the children never used a computer before.
Wow.
Right? Wow. So a nice thing is, after the lessons, we ask them, all right, so who here can actually tell their parents that I can code and I can use a computer?
Yeah.
And all their hands go up. All the hands are like, oh, me. And we can imagine how proud their parents are going to be after that. Yeah. And that just sparks their interest and shows them that there's a different road you can go, because a lot of the children in the townships have negative influences, like negative people they look up to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Role models.
Exactly. And now them learning a new language, coding, they have new perspective, you know? Yeah.
That's so important. And you are such an outstanding young man. And I can imagine you're a great teacher. And you both so inspiring and keep on soaring into the digital age. Well done.
Thanks so much.
Over to you, Bunny.
It's great to see young people being empowered to build careers in the tech industry. When we return, more tech on the couch. Don't go away.
The Afternoon Express Elf wants to make sure that you have a very merry festive season by giving away exciting prizes every day. If you win one of our daily giveaways, you are automatically entered into our grand prize competition. Sorry, little elf, that prize definitely won't fit under there, but it definitely will fit under there. Because the grand prize is...
a car!
So join in the joy of the festive season. Afternoon Express on SABC3.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. We're still talking all things tech in the loft today, and we're joined now by Aaron Fuchs, the CEO and founder of iExperience, which is based in Cape Town and hosts students from top universities in the world for courses on a range of in-demand and modern career paths like app development and many more. He joins us with Kane Kosyu, who is a former student of iExperience. Welcome to the loft.
Thank you very much
to have you with
us.
us.
Thank you.
So, you're the CEO and founder of iExperience. How did this idea come about to develop a space like this?
I studied in the US, and then I worked on Wall Street for a couple of years. Then I came back to South Africa to get involved in technology, and I needed to learn how to code. And I found that there were no places in South Africa for me to learn this skill. And after being in the US for 6 years, I realized that South Africa was in fact an incredible place to visit. And so by connecting the dots and thinking about creating a program where people can come to South Africa, learn an in-demand skill, that's kind of how the idea was germinated.
Wow. So, and what is it? Is it a course? How does it work?
So it's quite a unique kind of program. What we do is we offer a really, really immersive course that lasts 4 weeks, but it's about 10 hours of learning a day. So you can come on one of our courses, and basically, if you've never coded before, by the end of a month, you can have built your own app, which is quite unique in the education space. And so we really push our students to the limits. And then on the weekends, we take them on cultural excursions, outdoors in nature, and connect them to the local culture. So they really have a unique experience here in South Africa.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, Kane, you're one of the students who've gone through the program. How many apps have you developed as a result, and what's the experience been like for you?
It was an incredible experience. I'm actually quite a typical student for our experience because I'm Cape Townian. But I did do the course in product management to further my own skills as I work in the marketing industry. It was an amazing experience. We actually developed an app called Holy Cow, which is an environmental app that allows you to track the kind of impact that you have on the environment by reducing the amount of meat you consume in your diet. So it's not about telling people that you need to go vegetarian, but it's about understanding how the food we eat does heavily impact the environment. And it's kind of a way to eat healthier and also have a more positive impact on the world.
Oh, interesting app. How does it actually work?
So it works by tracking the amount of meat that you eat on any given week. And every time that you specifically reduce your meat intake on any given day or any given meal, it calculates the effect that that's had on the amount of water that was used to produce that meat that you're now not eating, the amount of grain that was used, and all of the variables that we don't think about when we go out and we purchase or consume meat.
Yeah. Well, now, Aaron, our experience is one of Cape Town's well-kept secrets. Are there plans to turn it into an institution like university?
So, yes, that is actually a very good question and something we've been thinking a lot within our experience. We would love to create our own university and basically take all the courses we've developed. We've got new courses coming out in artificial intelligence, in virtual reality, in cryptocurrency. So they're quite high tech, and we'd like to package them all into kind of a 3-year program where we offer it to local South Africans. And we're experimenting with different economic models of how we can do this so that we actually either offer it for free to South Africans or even pay students to take our courses, because we believe that the students that do our programs will add so much value to the industry, because it's very relevant what we teach, that it will really revolutionize what education means in this country. But that being said, it's quite a challenge to put that all together.
Absolutely. And what would you say to parents watching who are concerned that our experience would rule out the traditional university experience? And is this the future of education?
I would say they shouldn't be worried. They should probably be very excited. Because, you know, traditional education has its own problems, as does anything, and we're here to kind of look at it from a different angle and provide some sort of alternative way of thinking about how young people can be inspired and excited about the things that they're learning, and also when they're finished learning that they're actually relevant in the marketplace and they can start adding value almost immediately. And so, you know, the traditional education institutes take quite a while to adapt to changing economic environments.
Right.
Yeah, so I think, you know, they should get excited.
Yeah. Kane, what are you currently working on now? And what would you say to somebody considering on coming on the course?
Well, I work at a company that we essentially build websites and we build apps. And there's a host of apps that we build at any given stage. I would say that our experience is an amazing course if you're looking to try something new. For instance, I was working when I started the course, and I needed something to rejuvenate myself after 3 years of working in the same job at the same company. And I felt that that was really the benefit I got from our experience. That, in conjunction with the people that you meet. It's an incredible environment to meet new friends, to connect with people, for other people to inspire you rather than just relying on your own kind of day-to-day workings.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having us. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's great to see educational innovation like this taking place in South Africa, and we're all excited to see how it progresses going into the future.
So if you're anything like me, you obviously haven't started your Christmas shopping yet. If you're still looking for gifting ideas for your loved ones this season, find something for everyone with Click's wide range of gorgeous gifts and treats. Enjoy their great value 3 for 2 promotions and receive a participation product free, or save time and shop online with Clicks and Collect. Now, we found how some of you will be spoiling your loved ones this festive season.
I've decided on special things like little key rings, angels, to my aunts and then to my grandpa. I've decided I want to buy him a King James Bible because he's spiritual, so I decided on that. And to my mother, I decided something different this year because normally it's every year chocolates that everyone gives. So I've decided I'm going to buy her a chain with a cross on and the angel and also a chocolate, but just something a bit different this year.
I think I'm going to get my loved ones socks and chocolates and soap on a string. That sounds good.
I'm thinking maybe some perfume because I have like 3 sisters and a mother, so that's perfect for females, I think, yeah.
Like perfume and cologne would be really lovely. Something that, you know, the person would really like and it suits his, you know, needs and wants.
I'll be getting my sister specifically a day in the spa. She's been really awesome to me, so I'd like to just repay her. Take her for a mud bath, maybe, and a massage.
I'm getting my eldest brother, since he's been such an awesome guy to me this entire year so far. I think I'll spoil him with the cologne he's been eyeing for the last couple weeks.
I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking of some chocolates. I'm not sure what kind of chocolates, but I'm gonna look in the stores. I'm sure I'll find something.
I'm going to take my mom and my father out for like supper or whatever. And my brother, I will be buying him a new pair of tackies because that's what he loves. For my grandma, she's very old and stuff. I would like to take her out to Table Mountain because she really wants to go there, and that's what I want to do because that's her wish. For my loved one, my boyfriend, I'm going to get him a t-shirt that says King on me because he's my king. And for myself, I would like to get me a t-shirt that says Queen. And yeah, that's basically it.
Well, definitely my nephews and my nieces, they love clothes. So that's what I do every year. I make sure that I buy them lots and lots of Christmas clothes. I mean, obviously for kids it's very cheap. And for the rest of everyone, I mean, love giving them all my hearts. So I appreciate that.
Shop online and make Clicks your gift destination this Christmas. Shop at clicks.co.za, buy any 3 gifts marked with their purple sticker and receive a participating product free. T's and C's apply, selected stores only, valid until the 24th of December 2016. Visit clicks.co.za for more information.
We're about to take a short break, but when we return, Clem and I put the finishing touches to that Berry Nice creme brulee. Don't go away.
Clicks. Feel good, pay less.
Experience the world in a way less limited. Apply today at dinersclub.co.za.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, when it comes to beauty regimes, one can sometimes get a little overwhelmed with all the options. That's why we all need a little bit of guidance, and preferably from someone who knows exactly what she's talking about. Papama Ramogase, Woolworths Style by SA Ambassador. She gives us the lowdown on her minimal beauty regime and age-defying tips in this week's Beauty Desk. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Papama Ramogase and I'm a stylist. And up until recently, I was a tomboy. And I've only just started having a beauty routine and I'm thoroughly loving it. I cannot live without my lipstick. I recently lost a brand new stick. And just yesterday, I had to go into the waterfront to go buy a new stick because I can't survive without my lipstick. I've just discovered my red, and I'm totally obsessed with it. It would have to be hydrating. Drinking water is so essential because then you have that glow that comes from within that no makeup can actually buy. So I have seen the results of the fact that the more water you drink, the better your skin becomes. My beauty rule is that you can never have enough shimmer. I think because I don't wear foundation, sometimes it's just all I need to give me that made-up look, yet effortless, which is what I'm about. So I always have shimmer on my cheeks, just for highlight. I picked up from one of my favorite makeup artists recently, just how to actually get the brow in such a natural looking way, but just accentuate it and highlight it. And it's all about the brush. Don't use the pencil, use the brush. I like to wear my hair just the way I'm wearing it right now. Up is the only way. I've got very thick locks and they're quite long, so because I've got such a long neck, they become very heavy. So I've realized that if I wear them up, they're a little bit more manageable. So I either have them in one big bun or I separate the bun, divide it into two like I'm wearing it now. Once you are confident enough to be yourself, you just emanate and exude innate beauty, which I think is a little bit more timeless than makeup.
From beautiful faces to beautiful desserts. So, we're about to wrap up our berry
nice brulee. I almost forgot what it's called.
Very nice, very beautiful. Okay.
Okay, so in part one, we cook down our berries and we infuse some cream with some vanilla.
Yeah.
So I've got those two over here. I've just got my eggs and my sugar beaten up. It's nice and frothy.
Nice.
It is. So what I'm going to do now is slowly pour that cream and vanilla mixture into our eggs and sugar. So super easy, one-man job because I've got this amazing tool.
So much of decadence. Hey?
So it's the cream and the vanilla have cooled down slightly, so I'm not going to scramble the eggs as I'm pouring this in.
Okay.
Which is very important. You want to do it slowly. Like normally the method is called tempering. When you add a little bit of your hot liquid to the egg mixture, brings up the temperature of your eggs, so when you don't shock it and scramble it immediately. Let's just mix that nicely. Woo, and get it everywhere. You must.
Yeah, you must get it everywhere.
And you must wear black, so it shows everywhere.
You must wear an apron, a black apron.
All right, so what happens now is we're going to cook this again. Okay. So this goes back to our pot.
Oh, we cook it again?
Yeah, but think of it like a custard. So we need to cook the custard part again. So it goes back into our pot.
Why? Because we need it to thicken a bit.
Right, so we want to cook the eggs a little more. So that goes back into our pot. And the kind of what's going to happen is, as you cook it, you're looking for a texture that's going to coat the back of your spoon. So I'm just going to put this on quickly, real quick.
So we cook it on quite a low heat, otherwise it's going to
scramble.
A quiche, right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
It's well, I'm imagining
Sweet
that scrambling this won't be too bad. It'll probably be delicious, but it's not what we're looking for today. So what's going to happen is you're going to cook it enough. So as you run, you're going to get the back of your spoon, run your finger through the back of your spoon, and if it holds, you know that you're good to go. So you can go into the next step. And that tastes so good. So, next step.
So many clever tricks up your sleeve.
Next step is we're going to cook this bain-marie style. Which is we've got a big dish, we fill it up with some water.
Okay.
We're going to put our bowl that we're going to cook the brulee in this water. And we're going to take our berries.
Just clean that out.
Take that off the heat. So first things first, in go our beautiful berries. We're trying to do this. I'm a lefty, so I'm working backwards right now. In go our beautiful berries that we cooked down.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Here we go.
I just remembered that, I don't know why.
And that's how you tighten and loosen a screw.
No,
actually, yeah, well done.
Yeah.
So that goes in, and then we're going to pour this beautiful brulee mixture, the creme part, over the berries. And if it mixes, it's perfectly fine. It's just going to add more flavor to it. But what you're going to try and do, get it like layers. But like, it's not happening today.
Yeah, you want to try not make holes in the berries with the pouring, right?
But to be honest, if it does happen, it's just going to make it so much more delicious.
Really?
That actually looks pretty beautiful. Some beautiful berry marbling effects
very
there.
artistic.
And there we go. So this guy goes to an oven, and it cooks on a very low temperature for about 45 minutes to an hour. So I'd say low temperature, I'm talking about between 140 to 150 degrees.
Okay.
So the reason for the water is the water again doesn't shock the eggs in the dish, slowly rises and gently cooks the dish.
Okay.
So you'll know it's done when it's got a bit of a sexy quiver in the center when you shake it.
Sexy quiver?
A sexy quiver. And then you take it out.
Okay.
I think it's a term, a sexy quiver.
Yeah, I like that, I like that. Does this one have a sexy quiver?
No, because what happens is, now it goes to the fridge. And then you can set it overnight, you set it for some time, and then it sets perfectly beautifully. So a normal creme brulee, what we do is we scatter some sugar over, we get our blowtorch, talking tech.
Is something still cooking, burning over there? Thanks, Clem.
It's done. It's done. And we take our blowtorch and we normally just brulee the top.
Right.
But not everybody at home has this, okay? And I'm not going to get creative and say, you know what, go start a fire. You bring that piece of wood into the kitchen and you just brulee it. No, we're not about that, okay? We're going to start fire. Don't start fires in your house. So what I've done is I've taken some sugar and I've cooked it down slowly on the stove. And that way we've got our burnt or our malted sugar already. And all we're going to do is we're going to drizzle it. And we don't have to coat every single part of the brulee. We're just going to give some of it a little bit of an effect.
Oh, wow.
So you can kind of choose if you want.
So that's just caramelized sugar and butter?
All it is.
A bit of sugar and butter?
Yeah, no, just sugar. All it is
sugar.
Just sugar. Sugar goes into a dry, clean pan and you slowly start cooking it down on a very low heat. Don't stir it, else it's going to caramelize it. It's going to crystallize and it's going to kind of clump around your spoon. Let it do its own thing very slowly. Eventually it melts down and starts changing color and brings out the caramelized nutty flavor in the sugar. All you have to do is drizzle that over and that's going to sit really hard. You know the signature move of a creme brulee?
Yeah,
you have to crack through it. That's going to set and become beautifully hard and crisp and you'll get that beautiful little crack and then you've got your creme brulee. So don't worry about the blowtorch or under the grill. Okay. Do this. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, that is a lot easier. Thank you so much,
It's a pleasure.
Clem. Now, the keyword for this recipe is berry. SMS the keyword to 33650. SMSs cost R1.50. No free SMSs apply. And if you missed any of this, here's a quick recap for you.
Well, there you have it. This looks delicious.
Delicious. I love it. I love creme brulee.
You're more than welcome to dish up. I know you've been waiting a while.
I hope I do it right, though.
I hope the coders have a sweet tooth.
If we don't, we can just code it in ourselves.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. You guys were absolutely amazing and super, super inspiring. Careful.
Stop.
Next Monday, we're hanging out with singer-songwriter Leanne Lamini, who has a brand new single out, and we can't wait to hear it live on the show.
I can't wait to eat this.
You got that signature crack, so I'm very impressed.
I think you've got to be a little bit more aggressive with that thing.
So sensitive. All right, first piece, who's up?
Bonnie. I just didn't want to say me first. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Cheers. Happy eating. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Another feel-good production.